This is a Wacky Free Rig. We know the Wacky rigging style is one of the best of all time, but viewers have asked to see it underwater on a free rig. Is it better? Is there a difference? And what are some potential negatives to this rigging style? And we will also take a look at two of the most popular free rig baits, the bellows shad and the depths bull flat, as a point of reference to see if what makes a free rig so effective actually translates to the Wacky Free Rig. As always, drop your experiences in the comments below. If the free rig is new to you, it is a very simple setup. Place a weight that will slide up and down the line ahead of your lure so it moves, well, freely. Now let's show our reference lures first. Here is the bellows shad. The flat body style and rigging of this lure gives it and the bull flat the perfect resistance in the water, offering that mesmerizing, easy meal that could represent something like a dying bait fish. Now this easy meal and high percentage of success is what triggers the instincts of the bass and says, hey, this is worth the energy expended. And here is the bull flat. As we can see, it also presents what we hope that our free rigs do when down there working for us. And both of these lures look great on the initial drop, and then of course can be worked back to you and repeatedly do as we would expect them to. Now let's look at the Wacky Free Rig as a comparison. Now this lure doesn't have that horizontal glide or that bit of a horizontal glide to it naturally because of its body shape, but it does drop through the water column and look quite impressive. And here is the Wacky Free Rig moving along the bottom, and after each lift of the rod tip or pop of the rod tip, the Wacky Free Rig continues to perform and shimmy its way back down. It is definitely a possibility for an effective way to cover some water with a Wacky rigged bait. But this is what I wanted to know. Is it any better than your standard Wacky rig? Now for this video, I just used a weightless version. We know what a weightless Wacky looks like dropping, but does it move or work back towards us with a lift of the rod any differently than the Wacky Free Rig? And I can say time and time again, the traditional Wacky rig setup looked great hopping its way back. In fact, I can't say that there was any noticeable difference between the regular Wacky rig and the Wacky Free Rig. There are, however, some potential issues with the Free Rig version. First, the hooks that we use with our Wacky rigs are often a little smaller. And lots of weights that we might use for our free rigs, like this bell sinker, have loops on them that may potentially get caught up on the knot or the eye of the hook. Now keeping the weight tight to the lure and not allowing for that sliding presentation we want from our free rig. An easy way, or one possible way to help eliminate this problem, is to leave a longer tag end on a knot that has the tag pointing up. For example, a Palomar knot. It finishes with the tag up, and then we can snip it off a little longer. This will help reduce the number of times the weight gets stuck, but not totally eliminate the problem. Or you can use some weights specifically designed for free rigs. But now you're adding more cost to your setup, whereas a regular Wacky rig is just the hook and maybe an O-ring. Now, the other thing I noticed, and it may be good or bad depending on how you look at it, is that panfish in the area were obsessed with the small weight as it shot through the water column. And of course, the little weight matches with their instinctual parameters of what a perfect meal size should or could be. Now, but that didn't stop this little bass from slurping up the 5-inch stick bait on the free rig. And these panfish darting around after the weight, as we've talked about in other past videos, actually may be a positive, because anytime there's some feeding going on, bass can be drawn to that activity. So maybe the free rig is like fishing with two possible visual attractors, the weight and then the lure above it. But is there enough of a difference between a regular Wacky and a free rig Wacky to focus on one over the other, or not? What do you think? And hey, if you want to watch a video that shows a behavior that I see bass doing constantly in vegetation, no matter whether it's spring, summer, or fall, go ahead and check out this one right here. And make sure that you go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.